Hi, this is Little Dwarf, playing games while rambling incoherently into the microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And this time I'll be playing the original Deus Ex Blind. I've never played this game, I've never watched any walkthroughs or let's plays. I know virtually nothing about the story, save from the idea that it's set in a vaguely cyberpunk-ish world and deals with the topics like transhumanism, cybernetic augmentation and all that. But I've heard a lot about this game, and it was mostly very good things. And the main thing that convinced me to give it a try is that my probably favorite game of all time, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, I've often heard being compared to the original Deus Ex. And I love that game, so I'm very curious to see how exactly this is going to play. And I am very much a fan of those more old school RPGs with huge freedom of choosing how are you going to solve a particular quest and that don't hold your hand too much. So I'm very curious to explore this world, but I think I'll start with the tutorial because it seems a complicated enough game to to give it a try to orientate myself with the controls and whatnot. It probably is more important, more complicated than just shooting bad guys. So I'm only using like 2 mods that are supposed to make the graphics a little bit updated. But apart from that,
I figured you'd be sick of drills by now. Hopefully our training exercises will be more interesting than what they've had you doing at the academy.
But apart from that, I've left the gameplay completely unchanged because I want to experience the game as it was supposed to be. Oh, it's actually quite nice that the floor, the granite floor, has like reflective qualities. I didn't expect that. I wonder, it's probably one of the additions from the graphical upgrade mods I'm using, but it's actually quite nice for such an older game.
Open the door by clicking the right mouse button. The right button uses items in the world. The key on the desk opens encryption-based nanotech locks. When you pick it up, it will automatically be added to your keyring. Use the keyring to unlock the door and proceed to the next area.
So apparently this is one of those games in which the tutorial is sort of incorporated into the story, which is a cool thing because it lets you, familiarize yourself both the controls and the setting at the same time. It's my bootcamp. Okay.
You're going to get a lot of equipment during these exercises. Press F1 at any time to access the inventory screen, which will let you add and remove items from the tool belt. Press F2 to view your current goals and any notes you may decide to take. On a typical mission, a UNATCO agent's objectives are logged electronically so that he can stay on task at all times.
Okay. This is my... Here are all the different tabs. A lot of them actually. Which is totally not a bad thing. It is a hallmark of a little more
and try to
complicated
break open those crates.
experience.
One of them's indestructible, but the others contain things you might find useful.
Crowbar, it actually brings me back to certain other popular first-person game in which you were prominently using a crowbar. that being obviously Half-Life.
Now pick up the lockpick and use it to open the door. Lockpicking takes time and expends the self-assembling resources of modern lockpicks. Just be patient and remember your training. At higher skill levels, you won't need as much time or lockpick resources to pick a lock. Doors have two strength values. The door strength tells you how much damage a door takes before being destroyed. The lock strength tells you how many lockpicks will be required to pick the lock. Some doors have an infinite strength and an infinite lock strength. That means you have to find a key.
Okay, so basically I have, usually at least, I should have two ways to open a door. I can either try to lockpick it or I can try to bash it, which is already nice to at least some degree of freedom.
The code to the door has been stored in that data cube. Right-click on the data cube to read the contents, then type the code into the keypad. You activate the keypad with the right mouse button, just like you activate a data cube or any object in the world.
Okay. Well, yes. No major, obviously visible changes to the borders. Poland is still here in the future. There isn't like a European super state or anything. The USA borders are the same, though they probably just use the regular map pieces, so that may not be an indicator of anything. I always like to look at those smaller details in games, like posters, graffiti on the walls, all the things that build the world, sort of. That the schematics for some kind of a gun, like an energy weapon, maybe even a regular ballistic weapon. Sure, looks kind of like a gun. But here is okay. 002.
Use the disposable multi-tools on the table to hack the keypad up ahead. A multi-tool's resources are finite. When a tool is depleted, it becomes useless. The manual describes other uses for the multi-tool. At higher skill levels, you'll need less time and multi-tool resources to hack a given device.
Okay. Nothing particularly. So I can manipulate logs, cameras, turrets, which. But apparently I cannot use the multi-tool for like, hacking information out of computers, so I'm not going involved. Oh, so apparently I can also blow the doors open using explosives, which is also seems cool. Okay.
I'm here to pick up all munitions and equipment. Thanks for the cooperation, Agent.
Lying in front of you is a brave cadet who volunteered to be rendered unconscious for this next training exercise. Highlight and search him to find the key to the medical room. Afterward, pick up his body and place it on the medical table so that one of my aides can revive him once the exercise is over.
Actually a little weird that they knocked him unconscious. He, could have just pretend to be unconscious. I think that would be easier. But oh well. Okay, so nano keyring. So he only had a key. Oh, I stepped on him. That's kind of rude of me. We can also carry bodies, presumably like to hide them. If you're doing a stealth run. It reminds me of Thief.
Good work. I'll get someone down there immediately to revive Private Winslow. Move on to the next area. You can bet this won't be the last time we send you into a dark room. Turn on your light augmentation and find the exit on the other side. Just press F12 by default.
So apparently I have like a flashlight in my eyes, which is kind of stupid, like because he said turn on your light augmentation, not turn on your flashlight. So by that I imagine that it's part of like the protagonist's eyes. But if that is the case, then I don't understand why they didn't just install the like the dark vision sort of module, used in a military grade equipment in his eyes instead of just providing a flashlight. It would be much less conspicuous. But maybe that's like an upgrade down the line. I guess it wouldn't make much sense to just provide you with the best tools from the beginning, because that would rob you from any sense of progression.
You're not a mech, but you're enough of a machine to need repair bots now and then. If you used up some bioelectric energy getting through the dark area, for example, this contraption can charge you back up.
Okay, so my augmentation uses some kind of energy. Ah, right, there's a... up there on the left, I guess, is like my energy level. Okay, so I will have to be on the lookout for those type of bots in the future.
Congratulations, you
There
completed
is something
phase 1.
under there.
Move over the ramp into the next rooms to begin learning movement skills. We'll be watching you through the cameras, like the one you can see up in the corner. In the field, remember that terrorists sometimes use cameras like this in their security grids to set off alarms and alert guards to your location.
Okay, so that's how camera looks like. Wonder if I can, like, out in the game proper, shoot them and destroy them. I guess I'll have to try at some point.
Jump across the platforms. You'll have to crouch to get under those pipes. If you fall, use the stairs to begin again.
Okay.
You need to go through the door up ahead, but it's blocked. Those wooden crates are too big to jump and too heavy to lift, so use the metal crates near the wall to build steps. To pick up a crate, walk up to it so that it highlights, then click the right mouse button. To drop something you're holding, you can press the tab key by default.
Okay. There are also like light platforming elements in this game, apparently. Oh, come on, he could have just, mantle up there. Barely, reaching his torso.
Now, go up the ladder at the other end of the room. By default, you look up and use the arrow keys to climb. We get some complaints about this swimming obstacle because the water's contaminated. Recruits forget to grab the hazmat suit and end up in my office. Not pretty. Or they forget that they have to put the suit on by selecting it and pressing the left mouse button. Remember that the hazmat is disposable. You can wear it only once, and it operates only for a fixed duration. Use the ramp on the other side of the pool to climb out.
Okay. I have to actually use it to activate it.
These medical belts, normally used for quick healing, are of particular interest to you, JC, because you need a bot's help to install new augmentations. If you took any damage during the swim, now's a good time to get patched up.
Okay, so that's... Oh, it's interesting. There's actually a separate health pool for every part of the body. I wonder if crippling part of your body has specific consequences, like presumably crippling your legs would make you slower, crippling your arms would probably make aiming more difficult and all that. And if that's the case, I wonder if it also works for the enemies, like if I can maybe disarm them by shooting them in the hand or something.
Hand in your equipment. That's right. No cheating.
Okay. Yeah, that was a sudden transition.
Welcome to the combat training area. I am Günther Hermann, and I will be monitoring your progress here. We will start with weapon familiarization.
Yeah, that guy looks like he's seriously augmented to the point of not really looking like a human anymore. He looks more like a android with metal skin.
Your first exercise will be to learn a little about aiming and targeting. Step up to the shooting range to the west. The targets are released by using the buttons on the counter. Release the first target and take a few shots with one of the pistols until it is destroyed. Notice the targeting reticle appears when you aim at a target.
Okay, so I have to like wait for my aim to steady. Probably directly tied to my weapon skill. Which makes sense.
Good. If you hold your aim for a few seconds before firing, you will notice the reticle starts out wide and tightens as you hold. The longer you aim as a target without moving, the greater your accuracy will become. Release the second target and aim before shooting this time. Good work. Now proceed to the next area.
I wonder if I can pick up that. And so I can. Curious if it's possible, like, to throw them at the enemy to knock them unconscious or something.
I'm here to pick up all munitions and equipment. Thanks for the cooperation, Agent.
This is a rifle range. Here, you will learn one of the ways skill level makes a difference in your accuracy. Step up to the shooting range. The targets are released using the buttons on the counter. Release the first target and destroy it with the rifle. Use the rifle scope by pressing the left bracket key to turn the scope on.
Really strange key to find for using the zoom, but there are a lot of different functions to map to different keys, so not sure which key to use that is not already kind of like occupied. Oh, that's a huge recoil.
Now we are going to raise your skill with rifles to master level. Release the second target and destroy it.
Oh, that's
Good
a
work.
huge difference actually.
As you
There's
can see,
virtually
higher
no
skills
recoil.
give you better range, accuracy, and effectiveness. Proceed to the next area when you are ready.
Hand in your equipment. That's right. No cheating.
This is the demolitions training area. First you will learn to use the lamp as a proximity mine. Approach the bay window and you will see a lamp placed on the target board on the black and red wall.
Okay.
Press the first button next to the window and a security bot will be released. Watch as he nears the lamp. Lamps placed on the walls are proximity triggered.
That seems like a colossal waste of equipment to just blow an advanced security bot as part of training exercise.
This time you will place your own lamp. Take a lamp from the munitions bay and proceed to the red and black wall below.
He could have just, blown up some scrap metal or like a dead carcass of a pig or something.
Get as close to the wall as possible when you place the lamp. If you aren't close enough, the lamp will fall to the ground and detonate.
Oh, so I can both plant them on walls and throw them like grenades. That's good to know. Makes them a lot more versatile. So I guess that's the correct position to signify that it's ready to be placed on the wall. So I'm kind of curious about the throwing mechanism, so I think I'll just... Okay. Yeah, so it works exactly like a grenade would. That's what the taxpayer dollar is getting spent on, blowing costly
Very
military
good,
equipment.
You may proceed to the next area for more demolitions training.
You'll need a few extra lamps for the demolitions area. Here, catch.
Okay.
Next, you will need to breach the doors in the hallway. Throw a lamp down to the end of the hall. Once it blows, proceed down the corridor.
Okay, so I guess that's the part of the training in which I'm getting instructed how to blow doors.
Notice how the wooden door was destroyed and the metal and barred doors remained. Remember this for future reference. Beyond the destroyed door, you can see a damaged piece of wall you can also breach with a lamp. Try that now.
Okay, this is kind of nonsensical as well. Like, I get the door. A wooden door isn't that expensive, so you could make an argument that they are just replacing it as a part of the training, which isn't, as I said, isn't that nonsensical because it requires some expertise to learn to breach doors with explosives, so it would be best to just train on actual doors rather than listening to theory. But this, like a wall, and am I to believe that they are repairing it each time a new recruit comes and then ordering it blown up all over again?
Excellent. Notice that the wall is opened. Look for other weakened walls such as this, and your lamp and other explosives will allow you to breach them. Continue through that breach and on to the next section. The area beyond the door is the grenade defusing facility. Here you will learn how to remove planted explosive devices. At each of the corners of this area, you will find a lamp planted on the wall. You must disarm and remove all 4 lamps before you can proceed to the next section of training. You will need to move up to the lamp quickly and to defuse it by right-clicking. A second right-click will remove the lamp from the wall.
Okay, so apparently it's all about speed. It gives me like an audible warning. And I think it also starts to blink quicker. That is actually a very...
A word of warning, Agent Denton. This was a simulated experience. Real lamps will not be so forgiving.
Oh, so they're probably
You may
quicker.
proceed to the next area.
Load. It's actually a very cool way to gain additional equipment, just stealing the enemy's mines.
out to start the next section without arms or tools. Rules are rules.
Okay, so sneaking training.
Now you will learn to move quietly and conceal yourself so that you will be able to avoid the confrontation altogether. The test is simple. Get to the far north door without being spotted by the guards below. If one of them sees you, he will sound an alarm and lock the door.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, so that's low light vision goggles, night vision goggles basically. But I wonder why didn't they just implement it into my eyes if my eyes are augmented to begin with? Installing your flashlight into your eyes seems like a pretty dumb idea if you ask me. Okay, so I can get silencers later on, probably. Some general, the obvious tips.
Remember, don't let the guards see you. Use the crates for cover and crouch when you move.
Okay, probably not fighting.
Hey, who's there?
You blew it. The alarm just closed the north door. Return to the control room to the south and press the button in the overlook window to restart the test.
Okay.
This time, don't let the guards see you. Stay crouched, stay behind the crates, and stay behind the guards.
Okay, so there is one on each side. Probably the... And again, I am kind of in the open.
Somebody's there. A guy in civvies.
Well, they seem to be a little less vision impaired than in some other games I recently played. So I probably just have to like follow them when their backs are turned. Damn it, that was a good...
The guards can be distracted. Pick up
I know
and
I
throw
saw
an
somebody.
object near them, and they will go investigate the noise. Bottles, plants, flasks, many things will work.
It was a good opportunity right there. I was a little too anxious to proceed. Wasted it. I can peer over the corners. Cool, although not sure if I'll remember to use that.
Always remember the 4 basic tactics to avoid detection. Crouch behind concealment. Stay behind enemies. Move slowly to avoid making noise. And use shadows to conceal yourself. Be alert to every possibility. Very good. I hope you remember this lesson, Agent. They have assigned us to be partners, and I will not stop to hold your hand and repeat myself when we are facing a real enemy.
I guess that's not the last time
Now for the last test. You have to find a way across the river to the exit on the other side. There's more than one way to get there, depending on your approach and the skills you want to use. It's up to you. Make use of the IFF system to identify enemies. The crosshairs will highlight red over enemies, green over allies, and white over neutrals.
Probably best if I don't destroy the security bot, because as I said, that seems like a waste of money and resources to destroy a complicated security machine every time there is a new recruit, so maybe I'll manage to just sneak by. Oh, there's a date. Oh, so that wasn't that difficult. 089. A little tempted to destroy those girls to see if there maybe something inside, but although I'm not sure if the security bot actually has any like quote unquote hearing capabilities, or is it only does he need visual confirmation that I'm there? It doesn't seem to be hearing that. Okay, there was nothing in there, literally. Wait. Pistol. The code was 0089. They want to wait for the bot to pass to see if there's anything in those gates, so I'm not sure if anything from the training mission will carry over to the actual game. Might as well be pointless. Search for any additional. Also, there was a multi-tool, so I could hack terminal. Didn't password. Datapad. Actually, I think I'm wondering, like from a recruit perspective, would it make a better impression if I hacked the terminal? No, giving them a hint that I can manage in more difficult situations, by overcoming, or is the best would the best course of action be to demonstrate that I can use the available resources to their fullest potential by not wasting the multi-tool, but rather learning the code and entering the non-suspicious way, because probably could detect. Did he pass me already? I swear I thought both was closer to here. Did he make a turn already and I missed it? But yeah, I think it's probably possible to determine, after a while at least, the terminal has been hacked, tampered with. If you just enter the correct code, then there is nothing to suggest that the enemy has breached security, because I think... Is he on like a sensor that only moves? He only moves when I see him or something? Because he's been awfully slow. Now it's chance, I guess. Just check those alcoves over there for any potential secrets. Oh, damn it. Apparently I've been spotted. Well, that surely won't leave the best impression on my employers, but...
Step up to each hologram for more info. When you're through, go out the opposite door. A deployment of UNATCO troopers is the central component of all UN peacekeeping occupations.
Oh, that's us. That's true.
The NSF, the biggest terrorist threat in the US. This national militia group thinks it is fighting the Second American Revolution.
I wonder what NSF stands for. Probably going to be future. But this seems like an obvious secret passage or something, because in those older titles it's often that like secret passages have a distinct texture, because due to the technical limitations it was either impossible or simply difficult to properly blend them with the surroundings. So whenever there is a clear distinction between a piece of the wall and the rest of it, you can be pretty sure that there is some kind of shenanigans going around. Here as well. Aha, I knew it.
Step over to the communicator. There's someone who wants to talk to you.
Manderley likes to hear which agents find this area. They're usually the ones who take terrorists by surprise in the field. Your brother Paul, for instance. All right, carry on. Don't let it go to your head.
Okay, so that, at the very least, might alleviate some of my failures earlier. I wonder if it will have any bearings on like the story and the way that they treat me in the future. They found it, or is it a simple Easter egg of sorts? Again, continue.
An inexpensive security bot, a favorite of third world countries and corporate security divisions. Not so mobile, but don't be fooled. We've lost plenty of agents to its well-armored assault gun. Like other bots, it's difficult to damage with ordinary bullets.
Okay, so probably I need explosives or something down.
This Page Industries walking turret, marketed to governments worldwide, is the workhorse of most national military forces. Due to the heavy armor, they take little damage from ordinary bullets. If you come up against a bot, you should use an EMP grenade, scrambler grenade, or some kind of explosive.
Okay. Oh, that's Navarro.
This is the old augmentation technology, hopefully about to be phased out. Notice the reliance on electronics and servo mechanics, a maintenance nightmare. If I had 2 credits for every repair manual they've made me file in my office in the med lab.
Yeah, it looks kind of scary, though. I don't think it would raise much confidence in the populace. Terminator peacekeeper in your ranks.
The Coalition's new nano-augmented agents are nearly indistinguishable from the general population, except that you and your brother don't know how to smile, even for a picture.
You seem to have rather distinct eyes. I wonder if that's me or my brother.
Sufficiently impressive. An early success for the whole organization.
Thanks. You from the United Nations?
Your augmentations are a go. The real test comes next. Active duty.
I'm ready, sir.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Okay. So is that in my boss? Guess I'll find out soon enough. And that was the tutorial, so I'll end the episode here, start the game proper in the next one. So, see you in the next one. Bye.